This is the Tree of Life, Season 22, Chapter 6. In this episode, we will be talking about quantum inflation as the origin of the structures described in these podcasts. To start out, in the last episode, we talked about a quintessential aspect of infinite recursion further to substitution events. This inflation occurred both within substitution events alone, as infinite recursion, and in sequential substitution events through the compelling of acquiescence by the incoming consciousness. The idea was that in time parsimony, it is as if the events which occurred within these substitution events actually occurred within the causal history of an observer within time parsimony. Even though for the actor on path parsimony, these events are erased from their path. Now, this quantum inflation means that as negation leads to increasingly convoluted descending paths, parallel substitution events, potentially infinite, which relate to the transformation of analog to digital structures, all occurring outside the ordinary passage of linear time. These paths each involve sublimation, verbalization, and eventually acquiescence to the impulse negated at the beginning of that convoluted path. Thus, infinite recursion events represent the birth of a potentially infinite number of digital structures occurring simultaneously, which inflate the causality of the surrounding universe within time parsimony. Effectively, these pockets, or bubble universes, expand outward into time parsimony, which, as described in the last episode, experiences causal reordering as a result. Now, there are ways these bubble universes can be prevented from forming. That is, through displacement mirroring or other operations, including the compelling of acquiescence by the incoming consciousness. In that case, the hierarchy compels a bound correlation or symmetry between the incoming consciousness and the outgoing consciousness. In the last episode, we also talked about how when there is phase linking between the incoming and outgoing consciousness short of coupling, that is quasi-perfect phase linking, it represents a quantum channel subject to these hierarchical relations. Thus, it follows that the incoming consciousness can prevent infinite recursion by preserving a bound state of correlation. In other words, the progress of infinite recursion creates a digital facsimile of the exterior universe within the bubble universe, which preserves, through the causal reordering within time parsimony, its own boundary. Rather like a fractal, infinite recursion within substitution events repopulate reality as a whole with digital structures, whilst reordering causality subject to slight variations. Thus, we must understand that the linear experience of an individual subject is in fact the movement through deeper and deeper embedded universes of slight variation created by repopulation within substitution events through infinite recursion. That's the end of the podcast for today.